We're live. It's working?
Mhm.
Wow, guys. Thank you for your patience. Is it really only 4:45? No. Oh, 4:57. Almost half an hour late on this one. I'll wait for a few people to jump on. Live's working now?
Yep.
It's good?
Yep.
All right. Let's go. Oh, I just got an email that we're live. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Now live. So, how was everybody's day? We just finished the Warriors versus Lakers game 5. Didn't actually expect the Warriors to pull it off, but they did. They led at half, and Steph Curry for the win. How do you feel about that?
Don't.
Why do you like the Lakers, anyways?
Guess because I grew up with that team,
Oh,
and it's always been my
yeah.
go-to team. Yeah.
I'll bet you there's more Fijians who cheer for Golden State than cheer for Lakers because there's a lot more. I think Golden State represents a lot more of the what do they call it? The Fijian diaspora in just because of the location. Like there are a lot of Fijians in LA, but there's a lot more Fijians in the Bay Area,
Oh really?
which is where
Mm.
where the Warriors are from. So
Because the Golden team they've been winning quite a while, and
yeah, yeah. I've also seen a lot more jerseys in Fiji, but I
mm,
think there are a lot more Fijian Fijian fans.
fans. Hmm.
Yeah. What was going on today? What was going on in the news? You see anything
Ah,
heavy hitting?
a lot of controversial
Really?
political things. Yeah.
Oh,
But let's play tape.
so there's supposed to be yeah. Let's not throw me under the bus here. So there was oh okay. So we were wrong actually. The Nru are not playing the Reds tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they're playing tomorrow.
they are playing the Western Force.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they got that one
Yeah,
in the bag.
and the
Quarterfinals.
Reds is playing Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Mm.
Yeah, Reds can
Let's go
destroy the
Chiefs!
Chiefs. Dude,
Heck
no chance.
no,
No
no
chance.
chance at all.
No.
Yeah,
The Reds.
Chiefs forever, man.
Let's go Reds. Let's go Reds. No way. No way. So there's been a lot of chatter lately about this. There's like a big investment that's supposed to, or there's supposed to be a big push for tourism. I think in the Northern Division, and I'm just trying to pull it up here. It's supposed to be. Is this actually confirmed? $8 million
Yeah,
budget
yeah.
thing. So there's an $8 million budget for the promotion of tourism in Vanuatu. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Mm.
I think a lot of this. So yeah. So as we said, $8 million push for tourism to encourage tourism in the north in Vanuatu. This is a very people here feel overlooked. I think in general
Mm.
when it comes to tourism, and being that it's that much further away, I think people just felt like it's just not an option here up until this point. But there are rumors about international airport being built. That's been going on for so long
Mm.
because they've been talking to like clients, um, in our area, in
Mm.
our same Yavusa, and it's been like when things get talked about forever and ever, then people just eventually lose hope
Yeah.
because it just takes too long. That's kind of where they're at with the airport. But I was talking to somebody this last year who would be in the know, I guess you could say, and he was saying that a airport in I don't even know if I'm supposed to be talking about this really, but
Uh,
uh,
it's out there. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So an airport in Vanuatu would not be mainly for passengers. It wouldn't be like a Nandi International Airport for passengers to disembark. So every time a plane has to land at an airport, if you check your tickets when you book tickets, you'll see like airport improvement fees and like environmental fees, and there's like 6 or 7 different fees at the bottom of your ticket prices plus the tax. So ticket prices is stated as like one thing, and then it's like all these things added on. So every time a plane has to touch down at an airport, they pay like a tarmac fee. Fiji Airways, for whatever reason, always seems to dock, especially in LAX at least. It seemed like in the back, and because I don't know why, but I would assume that they pay higher fees for really good terminals or really good gates, like where the gate like telescopes out to the
Mm. Mm.
and you walk up that
Yep.
runway. So So it costs airlines every time you got to touch a plane down at an airport. So what I was told is that this airport would mainly be like a cargo and refueling station. So
Uh,
planes like doing the big trips across the Pacific,
mm.
across the Pacific, across the
Pacific.
across the Pacific would touch down here, and they would pay less for the tarmac fees. They pay less for all the fuel because people would they'd be able to have cheaper labor and everything here.
Mm. So
And so,
so Fiji is like in the center of like
well,
the cross country cargoes.
yeah, I think, well, from what I understand, that they would be able to, it would be viable because the fees are so high at these other
Uh,
airports. Like, how much does it cost to land at Sydney International
mm,
versus landing at Senganga International? Right? I mean,
Fee.
like, or wherever it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or wherever it is in Bua, or wherever it ends up being.
Mhm.
And definitely, I don't think it can be in the Condrove. I don't know if there's any big flat places over
Mhm.
there. And it honestly doesn't even make sense a bit. I mean, I don't know Mbua that well, but it just seems like you should put it close to some sort of town center.
Right.
I don't know. That's
Right.
just me.
Yeah.
Senganga makes the most sense, but I'm biased,
Mhm.
so who knows? Take it for what it is. So that would be exciting. People, I would assume people could disembark, but it would be mainly used for refueling and cargo distribution. So you could picture this as like a port, an
Right.
airport, where the people would just like it would be like a hub for. It's like I think it's Houston, the airport, O'Hare. No, O'Hare is Chicago. Chicago. It's like in the middle of the states, but I think it's one of the busiest airports in the world. And
Mm.
so, hey, go talk to mom, please. Go talk to mom, please. This is live, everybody. So the thing about like Chicago O'Hare, it's not even it's right in the middle of America, and there's no international. There's not many. It's not the focus is not international travel. It's just used as like a place for people to jump from spot to spot. It's like a transit
Mm.
airport, but that's why it's so busy. So I think that Senganga International would be.
Mm.
I'm just gonna keep saying it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
speak it out. Would
So
be used as a hub.
yeah. So how do you align that um grant or like fund for the tourism that the government is giving towards the airport? How does that fit in?
Come again?
Or like how do those two kind of relate? Was
Well, I
why the government is pushing it?
right, right. Well, there's been a lot of like developments. I won't go into detail, like conversations about the land, even in where Armatangada is close to Senganga.
Mm,
Like lots of inquiries from government about the development of the area,
mhm,
um, from different entities in the government about talking about industrial development, talking about residential development, about developing the power grid. Um, in this area, and it's all like they're not nobody. I don't even know if they know, but like all these things seem to be happening at one time, and it just seems way too coincidental for me. All of these like investigations would be taking place without something big happening here.
mm,
Like, what's the need for a huge solar farm right here?
mm,
Probably because there's going to be demand for
mm,
something that needs electricity, right?
mm.
I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but that's just. I mean, I'm just thinking about
Yeah,
like why are
yeah.
they asking us these questions? So I think that the airport would go hand in hand. There would be, I bet you that the travel to Vanuatu would 10x
Yeah.
if there was an airport here. Easily, the people
Mm,
would come up here. Like we were talking about yesterday, Fiji's such a create your own holiday kind of place.
mm,
Like unless you feel adventurous, like you're not gonna come to Fiji, and then you have to be extra adventurous to come up to Vanuatu,
mm,
unless you just book at like one of the places in Savusavu. But um, I think this is exciting because it's so much more than just tourism. Because with tourism comes all of the other things that communities and government has to look at. Because whether that's dealing with the rubbish situation or dealing with the environmental impact of developments that are happening even outside of tourism, like the mangroves and stuff like that, like
mm,
making sure that people aren't just cutting things down and burning fires
mm,
and doing all this kind of
mm,
stuff. So there's things that are just automatically attached to development
mm.
that I think would be good for Vanuatu,
Yeah.
and I think it would bring a lot of jobs as well.
Mm,
But yeah, I'm hesitant. The reason I'm hesitant is because you know for people to, it just seems like we're putting more eggs in the tourism basket.
mm,
Like, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I like diversifying,
mm,
so it doesn't feel like we're diversifying. it feels like we're diversifying inside of tourism, but I think what would long term help Fiji more is providing people the opportunity to invest
Yeah.
inside of Fiji. And I don't think the tourism industry it employs people, but it doesn't provide people the opportunity to invest.
Mm,
At least the way that's been structured so far,
mm,
because there's a lot of money overseas with the Fijian diaspora that's in the U.S. and the UK that's looking to. I think we'll get into some questions actually today of people who are looking to invest in something tangible in Fiji, and I don't know that tourism has allowed people to do that.
right.
Like instead of just sending you over,
Mm,
and I think long term, I yeah, it'd be good to give people an investment opportunity.
mhm.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's my opinion on the airport. We'll see what happens. It's been talking about it for a long time. Are they actually bringing fiber optic cable?
Yes, that's been talks, but yeah, definitely they're bringing it over. So is that 5G?
But fiber optic is faster than 5G. Yeah,
Oh,
we had fiber optic where we lived in Canada. It's
oh,
like
okay.
lightning. Yeah, it's very, very fast. But it all depends on the source, obviously,
Mm,
the source speed, right? But
mm,
fiber optics, light speed is what it is.
okay.
So optic being the light part of it.
Very optic.
Yeah, very optic. So it's whatever the speed of light is. So that's a fast internet.
Faster.
Faster than what we have right now. Freaking coconut wireless over here. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I was looking at security cameras today in town.
Mm.
Ever since I found out that iPhones, I'm looking at a tweet here. Ever since I found out that iPhones take a picture of you every few seconds, I've stopped taking my phone to the toilet or the bathroom with me. Actually, you know what? I have something funny to say about this because the other day we were talking about, oh yeah, we're building the house and we were talking about like the just throwing ideas around the
Hmm.
roller garage doors,
Yeah.
the ones that like roll up
Yeah.
above the or into the ceiling or into the above the door
Mm.
instead of being like a barn door. And it was just like a quick mention. We didn't even talk that much about it. And then 2 days later, in the ad section on one of my apps, there was an advertisement for like garage door accessories and like roller doors. Yeah. So like, yeah, I don't know, dude. There's some weird pictures out there of me if it's taking pictures every 2 seconds. But
In the toilet.
I don't know about pictures, but if they're definitely
No,
listening.
it definitely made you think twice.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
oh shoot.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm definitely gonna keep the
yeah.
phone pointed at the
Mm.
ceiling when I'm in the bathroom from now on.
Just tape the camera yourself.
Yeah, I see people
Yeah,
that do that. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
I remember doing it one time with my phone because about this conspiracy, and then
yeah,
I just that, and yeah, like I think it was like 2 years ago. Just tape the front camera. People were like looking at me. Hey, you do that too? Yeah, I do this too. Oh, do you do this? Yeah. And then they start showing on my phone. But I saw this tweet and
yeah.
like a video that was attached under it.
Oh,
Like it was showing it can definitely show in what was it in those secure those
yeah, like
home cameras.
CCTV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it can show that flash
Oh,
in your phone and you like you're holding it
dude, that's
every
so
five
creepy.
seconds.
That is so creepy.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna be boring in the toilet from now on, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
You're taking selfies in the toilet.
Yeah. Well, my thighs will be thankful. You know the spot where your elbows go. Anyways, moving on.
Oh, how was
We have
today
sport
though?
news.
How was the movie today?
Oh yeah, so we went to Guardians of the Galaxy. So I told the kids that we would we'd do something fun with them. So we took them to the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 today. And I will say I actually thought the movie was mediocre at best, my opinion. I'm gonna lay some like low expectations for you guys.
Mm.
I it it circulated. I don't think this is giving anything away, and also spoiler alert coming up. But it's not even really a spoiler alert. The movie surrounds the story of the origins of Rocket, who is the raccoon, who doesn't like being called the raccoon. So it's pretty sweet. That's sweet, like building out the backstory. But it's definitely not one to take your kids to. I'd say of all the Marvel movies, it's probably the creepiest one. It just got weird characters. It's not like inappropriate or whatever, but if you have soft children, don't go. I don't know how to say it. Like yeah, I took the boys out actually for a
But
little while.
well, for you, like, do you like? Did you like it?
Uh, I don't know. It was just I think the first one was so awesome because of the soundtrack, like we talked
Right.
about the other
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and also the character, the way that they wrote the movie, like the dialogue between characters, was
Mm,
just so refreshing and so unique. I
mm,
think to well superhero movies, but movies in general.
mm,
And I think I'm just like it's too like I'm expecting it now
yeah.
almost,
Mm,
and it just felt like it's almost like trying too hard or something,
okay.
something for me.
Mm.
But maybe we should talk about movies in out of 10. Hey, I give it a solid like 6 out of 10.
What?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Really?
Well, how about you?
Uh, uh, a 9.
9.
9. Yeah.
Holy smokes,
Yeah.
dude, you're
Just
out of your
because I
mind.
love Batista.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, he
Out
is
of all the
great. Yeah,
characters,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
He is
love
great,
his.
and I love Chris Pratt. I actually love all the characters in that movie. I think maybe it's just my mood today. I also fell asleep once in the theater.
Yeah. And I dropped my popcorn.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, I'm really glad. Well, I'm glad you stayed back to clean that up. That's good.
Yeah.
You know what has been ticking me off
Mm.
so much about? I'm just reading here another news article about people saying, "Why don't we bring Super Rugby more to Fiji?" Well, basically, this is what this article says. It's now irrefutable that the Fiji crowd are the most vocal and fanatical in the Super Rugby Pacific tournament. Their love of the game is almost unmatched. So why don't we take the whole party to the island next year and go with Bula Round instead of Super Round? Like
Eh,
you see this, I saw this in the HSBC sevens tournament when
mm,
it first came to Vancouver. Like Vancouver crushed it for the first like 3 years,
mm,
and I think they still do. I think they still do a better job than almost all other nations because it's one of the newer ones on the
mm,
tour. So the fans are like ecstatic, but every year like it gets a bit less and less. I mean, and it's hard to do that. I mean, you even see that with like some of our podcasts. Like it starts off like really strong. Like episode one is still like our biggest listen, and
mm,
then people are like, oh, I know what to expect, not really interested until you give them that like hitter,
yeah,
right? So see a similar thing with like the games that happen in Fiji. I'm like, man, the stadium is packed out, and it's like when people score, it's like wow,
mm,
and the commentators you can barely hear them. And then you go to like some of the games in Australia and New Zealand, and like the place is practically empty. It's like, what are we doing here?
yeah,
Like I get that the Nrua have to play away from home as well, and that like there's more better atmosphere and a better vibe.
mm.
But it'll never happen. The teams can't take the heat. I think. Yeah, I think like it's
I
like
think that's one of the contributing factors. Is the
yeah,
heat.
yeah, and it seems like there is a home advantage for the Nrua right now.
Yeah,
Like who did they lose to here?
blues.
Blues.
Mm,
Yeah, and so there's Suva definitely. There's something about Suva. Them playing in Suva that really they do well there.
mm.
So they haven't lost yet in Suva, right?
Do you think
So
it'll
well
go
this year.
well if it's like happens in Lampeter?
Oh, okay. Dude, yeah, that place would be fully packed. Where they'd be fully packed with all 2,000 of us, like trying to fit into Subaru Park. Yee, Baba Shinga. We would crush that. We would fill that place so quickly. Okay, what do we got here? Oh yeah, the Vigilant Fox. Okay, we got to play this for you guys.
Negotiating with NARA. Do you know what NARA is?
What do we got here?
Extremely,
But you don't
extremely
Okay,
sage
okay, okay,
group
okay.
of
Here
people.
we go.
I was negotiating with NARA. Do you know what NARA is? Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
You
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to
That's
answer.
why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person. I'll tell
Oh.
Can you answer why you...
This is
I
why I
was
love this guy, man.
Wow. Okay, so that's Donald Trump for those of you who didn't recognize the voice, but he is like the loosest of loose cannons.
Mm.
And I think that was something that really frustrated like his office staff was that like he was so hard to control. And like
Oh.
press conferences with him were just like you didn't know what was going to happen because
Mm.
he just shoot from the hip like no other politician. And I think that's why people loved him, or the people who loved him so much, and why he won so many people over is because he was just so contrasting to
Yep.
other politicians. Um, but that is actually a tactic that I've heard that he uses before. So, and it's just a psychological tactic basically. So what you do is if you're in a meeting, so what I've heard So I'll just relay out the situation. So I've heard that Donald Trump sometimes will walk into a meeting, and this is the exact example I heard. He walked into a meeting once, and he was kind of like, he was on the back foot. He was the one who needed something, and he was the one who was going to people who had more than him. And so to put himself in control, he makes you uncomfortable. So the thing that he did in the meeting was he came up, shook everybody's hands, and then the guy started talking. And he's like, oh my gosh, like your breath is horrible, horrible. And that's just like that just threw. So you do things like that, and it just throws people off.
Yeah.
So if somebody is in like a position where they like say, I don't know, whatever, talking to a police officer or whatever. I might have tried this once. I might have not. But it does work. It really does work. So if you take it's like people say, oh, take the power away from them, or like, put yourself in a position of authority. One way to do that is just to make them really uncomfortable. And so then the negotiating power is now back in his hands, because now that guy's on the back foot.
Right.
So in this situation, this girl was trying to, like, the CNN reporter was really, really, really trying to like take control and like humiliate and not giving, like, trying to bring out like a sense of panic and like rushing by asking him question after question, interrupting him. And then he just like was like, you're a nasty woman. And she's like, that, like, guarantee you the next shot of that is him talking and not her, for sure. I don't know, the video ended there, but yeah, so you can use that in your next negotiation if you want. Just like, somebody be like, boy, and your hair is like really uneven, like I think you have to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And they're like, jeez, so, and again, like, it depends what you want. Like, if you want to be liked, then business might not be for you, right? Because if you want to be a person who has an opinion, and not everybody's going to agree with your opinion, as long as that opinion is not your identity, like we spoke about yesterday. So Donald Trump doesn't care, or he appears. I'm sure he does, and I'm sure that he wrestles with it, but like, he cares more about being a successful and influential person than he does care about what his opponents think about him. So yeah, it depends on what your mission is, I think, at the end of the day. If your mission is to be successful, then you'll do everything at all costs to do that. Is there any questions or anything?
I got a few here.
Yeah, because I got a few here, but I can answer a few.
From Ryan Reddy. Well, do you see more potential in tourism in Honolulu versus Vitilevu? Another question would be, oh yeah, it seems to be more opportunities in Honolulu, I guess.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't. No, I don't think I see more opportunities. I'm just taking this question, just processing it as I'm listening to it. Vanuatu just offers a whole new. It basically offers tourism in Fiji the chance to do it differently than it's been done, because we're on these, like, isolated rocks, and being the islands. So we can learn from what we did in Vitilevu, and we can do it now differently in Vanuatu, I think. Like, there's a bit of, we have friends who run a really, really cool resort on this side of the island in Mazuata, and seeing, like, they've been established for a long, long time. So to have, like, those older grandfathered in businesses that have been here for a long time, to be able to go to them and see what it's been like and what needs to happen. I think it's just like, we can look at Vitilevu, we learn from them well, and then recreate or not do the same things here. Yeah, so I don't know if there's more or less. I think it's just we can do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Big question: how do you raise boys to be men? Little question: how do you disciple your kids? What seems to work or does work? This is from RDOL Beck. Ardol Beck on Instagram. I would say I would reverse those. I put the big question is, how do you disciple your kids? What seems to work? And the little question is, how do you raise boys to be men? So how do you I'll just answer the questions as in the order. How do you raise boys to be men? I think that, just I had the opportunity to have a father. I think that's a privilege to have a father who loved me and who looked after me and still cares about me. And so I have a good example. And for everybody who doesn't have a good example of what a father should look like we have Jesus, right?
Mm.
And so that's the really cool thing about being in the Christian faith, is that even if you did have a terrible experience as with a father figure, you still have the father of fathers to look upon. I The first thing that comes to my mind is just how I love their mom, because in the end, like, they will leave this house, they'll leave my under my roof, and they'll move out on their own, like whether they get married or not. But chances are they'll find a lady. And so, like, in the end, it's like to teach them. Like, right now, I went to a course actually that was geared towards men, Christian men with sons. So not men with kids, not Christian men with kids. It was Christian men's with sons. And they were like, there was all these, it was really, really cool. There was like a chart that they shared, and they're like, in these years of their life, the main thing that they need to see from you, like from this age to this age, is just tell mom that you love her. Then from this age to this age, they need to see that you tell mom that you love her and that you also apologize. And then from this age, and like, it just added on, and the list grew bigger. And so that was really, really cool to see. Maybe I'll try to look it up if people are interested.
Mm.
But it was like a really practical thing. Like, from 2 to 4, this is what's really important with your sons. And so I think for me, like, loving their mom, and I don't know, basically just teach them not to, like, not because me and Stephanie balance each other out well. I
Mm.
think I get to be the hard ass. Like, I get to be the one who's like, don't cry. Like, let's toughen up. I can play it hard, and then mom can be the loving person. Obviously we like do what we need to do at the right time or when we feel it, but even when I don't want to be, I usually am the person who's a bit harder.
Mm.
So,
That's a good
and
thing.
how do you disciple your kids? What seems to work or does work? Well, here he comes. The biggest thing for us is just taking them to church right now. I think I want them to see like what community looks like, as far as like the big event would be church. I want them to love community. Want them to love Christian community, and for them to love church, where they are surrounded by people who are all in the same boat, which hopefully will turn into going to Bible studies with us, which is like one-on-one intentional conversation, asking each other like hard questions and keeping each other accountable. And then also just praying with them at meals, praying with them before bed, and just sitting down listening to what they have to say. And then just like steering things. Like the other day, I think one thing that's at the top of his head right now is, like I said, that see the sun, it's like Jesus is the light. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah. And like Satan is like the dark, like,
Mm.
but when the sun comes up, it shines on everything, and that's like Jesus. And now he's like obsessed with that, and I hear it all the time. So like giving them little lessons like that and working it into like simple things. Yeah, that's been my thing lately.
Mm.
What's Okay, so I got two questions here. As a Fijian who migrated to America, what are some business ideas I could start up returning home that isn't yet in Fiji or popular in Fiji? Like equipment I could bring from the States to help be a one in a million business not available in Fiji. And then another question: what's a good investment for Fijians overseas to have in Fiji? Also, give back to the people. And how do we deal with the difficulties of logistics and the Fijian government? Okay, let's answer the second question first, because that's what I've recently read. What's a good investment for Fijians overseas to have in Fiji to also give back to the people? So the reason that we're doing what we're doing in Fiji and doing content creation, so you guys can like see, like, follow along with our story, and see where we came from and the businesses we built and how we built them and our ethics, what are our values, is to also like attract people to our brand. Like, we're building our brand by telling our story, because we didn't have a product. Now we have a product, like a coffee shop, say. um, and we'll keep adding on more and more businesses, and we'll soon start just acquiring businesses that we like. So instead of starting all the businesses, you get to acquire names and staff and all that kind of stuff. So it might appear as though the branding is just to get customers in the door, but the branding is also to get investors in the door. So, like, say for something like Fresh Tea and Coffee, eventually we will set it up to be able to franchise it. So we'll give you guys an opportunity to purchase a Fresh Tea and Coffee and own a zone or a district. So say you want to buy part of Suva, or you like, because I think the second question really hits it. What's a good investment for Fijians to have in Fiji? Also give back to the people, and how do we deal with the difficulties of logistics and the Fijian government? So, having a Fresh Tea and Coffee franchise, we would be taking care of all of that, like all the registration, everything would already be set up. We'd have a list of all the things that you need to buy to stock the store, like down to shelving and the types of uh, like cups that you need and how much supply you need according to how much you're selling in a day. Like everything will have been researched, and the business is already registered. You just buy into the name, and to give back to the people, well, that's our mission. Our mission is to provide employment opportunities through the utilization of our resources. So our values. If you want to give back to the people, our mission is to employ people. So that's why, like, I could do a lot of things. I could do everything just by myself. I wouldn't be able to do it to the scale I do it. I wouldn't have to employ anybody, but like that's not what I want to do. It's fun. We're having fun creating employment, and that's, I think, how we revitalize the Fijian economy, is by creating jobs and fun jobs, like jobs. And I'm not talking like career, like everybody has to be an engineer or a doctor or whatever. I'm talking about jobs that people can just feed their families, come to work, have a good time, be in a safe space where they're encouraged and loved on, and then they can go home with their money and support their families. So what our mission is to create employment opportunities, and we'll take care of all of the difficulties of government and logistics, and we'll be able to like handhold you through it. So that's where we're going with Fresh Tea and Coffee. If that or and probably more business is the franchise route, if that makes sense. As far as the first question, as a Fijian who migrated to America, yeah, because like you don't just want to send money back home all the time, because there was tens of millions of dollars that was sent home last year. I was looking at a report, and it was. I mean, I don't know what. There's not a lot to. I guess like families are able to support themselves and stuff like that. But I think a lot of you guys overseas would like to see something tangible happening, and like you send money home to plant this or plant that, and then you come here and it's like, well, where is it all? It's like, well, we planted a bunch. Well, like I asked for this amount, and it's like, well, this is lots, like, but lots is not, so there's a lot of discrepancies, and I'll say, like, do it at your own risk. When I wanted to come to Fiji, or when I wanted to start something in Fiji, I talked to a very close family friend who I would look at as like a mentor, and a guy who has decades of business experience in Fiji and one of the top retailers in Fiji. And I was talking to him about it, and he would basically said, like, come back to me when you're serious about it and when you decide to move to Fiji. Until then, like, you won't be able to fight the, like, what did he call it? Like the wakamalua, like not mokusinga, but like just like the attitude that like people just start taking it easy after time. You have to be here on the ground. And so he was just like, don't talk. He's like, it was almost like don't waste my time until you actually decide you're going to do it. And deciding to do it means moving to Fiji. And so that's actually what triggered like that really big discussion, and what eventually got us here was talking to him. So yeah, not to, like, you can send things home, but that's that's what I'm trying to do. Do we're trying to do these things so that people can invest in Fiji and employ people, and they know that the money is not just going to any, like, they know who the money's going to and what we stand for and what our values are, and so they can with confidence invest in Fiji. Because there are a million ideas. I mean, you could buy a wood mill and you could set up like here, like, like People are harvesting pine all over the place here. Like you can set up a wood mill and get your license, but it's like, how are you gonna staff that? What are you gonna do when it breaks down? Like, what are you gonna do for all your licenses? There's so many. If I think of something immediately, I'll let you know. To who this person is who asked the question. But Sir underscore ROQ. So great question. And then Jessica Salmon actually asked a question as well about like places where there's like events or like central locations where people can go and find like what's going on in the community. And so because she was saying that she can't find anything. I don't know if I think she wants to come to Fiji, but like she can't find anything about what's going on, and that's what makes Fiji Fiji is that like it is very difficult to find out what's going on where. I know like Savu Savu has like a page. I'm not on it, but I think that's where they post their events like in the town. So I think you might have to look according to like what's going on in Singatoka or what's going on in Nandi groups, like Nandi specific, like or town specific kind of groups. If you want to know what's going on where you are, but on that, like, there's not really a lot going on. That's the thing. Like like we do so much, like so many songos and so many like events within our families, and like there's not a lot left over at the end of the day to like just go with your friends and go to like a music festival or something like that.
Yeah.
There's just this doesn't happen that much here. Like the concept of like holidays or spending like that is not really a thing.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. It is for some people, for sure. For sure, it is for some people. I'm not speaking for everybody, but in general, there isn't like a market for like uh, an events page like Fiji wide. Maybe there is. I don't know, or maybe there is one already, but I don't know about it. I don't know about it.
Got another question.
Okay.
I feel like it's the same question we've
Yeah.
answered. Quick one. What are the chances of collaboration between yourself and the lads in the island of Moturuki?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Kurai
Yeah,
Tambua.
I'm down. Yeah. It's just like it's hard because like we're so far away from each other.
They're in the island.
Yeah, they're on the island, we're on this island. And so the thing yeah, I don't know like collaboration just for the sake of collaboration. Like when you live that far apart, like there has to be a reward to it if you're going to make that kind of, time investment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if collaborating achieves the our goals necessarily. Like gaining more audience in Fiji versus yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess it would help. It would help, but like we would have to talk first about like if our audience is like each other, or if, like what's his avatar? What is the person that he's trying to get to, right? Because we're trying to get views, but not just like views just for the sake of having views. Like, all right, I guess we're talking about Uraya, right? Yeah. So I would love to collaborate. But it would have to be something that like works for him, works for me. Like as far as like, is it worth it? I think like if we were like in the same place or like close to each other, like hands down for sure.
Yeah.
But he's so busy, we're so busy. It's a lot. But I would like to see more of an effort, or at least something from the government or from the powers that be about helping us get monetized in Fiji, so that content creators can create content and get compensated for that.
In Fiji.
That is not our purpose. Like I just explained, our purpose of doing content creation in Fiji is to be able to start businesses, get customers to the businesses, get investment to the businesses, so we can employ more people and impact more people and get the money flowing in this country and across the Pacific. So our intention with the views is a bit different, like, but there would be a lot more people that would create content if they could make money from it. Hands down, for sure.
I mean, apart from YouTube, just like with Facebook as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Facebook, yeah,
and Instagram.
Facebook, like Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff, TikTok. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Mm.
That would be nice. Let me just take a final look. If there's any final questions, you guys can shoot those in.
Oh,
So,
what do
yeah.
you? I was
Yeah.
watching this video of Dan Fiji talking about Sole.
Oh yeah,
Is
Sole.
that an app?
Yeah, yeah. I think
What
I
do they
don't
do?
know. I actually don't know that much about it. They came here. What they did that was not. Uh, they came here with another organization to Senggang. I'm talking about for like a public speaking engagement, and I think a lot of people here, even me, associated them with this other entity that was supposed to do something in the agricultural sector, and then that company or that organization made a bunch of promises, and they never came back for a follow-up meeting. We never heard from them again, so it was just a bad look, I think, for Sole to attach themselves to that. And I think there was obviously like collaboration probably between like the board, and there's probably people that were on the boards of both companies that wanted to collaborate
Mm.
and get the news out there. So did they get the news out there? Yeah, I think they did, but it might not have been the best way, because it seemed like if there's too long between like the announcement or like the research stage, the public research, and the actual like rolling out of something, like people just lose interest. So so I'm saying like you can do it. I think it's going to work. I think so. It's a great idea. They're just going to be like starting from the ground up, because I think they clearly know that it's something that Fiji needs. What I believe, I can't remember exactly what it is it allows you to take your money and put it into different accounts. So like to split it up, and then to have like shared accounts with families. So like you could take like 5% of your income, or like
Mm.
everybody in your family takes 5% of their income,
Mm.
puts it into a shared account that can be taken out on like family songos and stuff like that. And then you have like one account for your rent, one account for your transport, one account for your grocery money. So you can split it up, because that's what me and Stephanie do with all of our accounts in Canada. Like I can open 10 more accounts in the next half hour on our online banking if I want to, and split up all the bills. And that's what we do. Like when we get paid, it's just like money here, money there, money there, money there. And this is what we're left with. Okay, that's what we have to deal with. And
Mm.
so, but it's so difficult. And the Reserve Bank of Fiji, you need to get your stuff together, because or explain to us what is going on. Like, why is it so difficult for us to do banking in Fiji? Because we just don't understand. I'm not saying you guys are doing something that's like not good or could be even done better, but like we're just so in the dark about it, and it's so difficult to open bank accounts in Fiji, and for us to open new accounts to help us budget, because it just seems like we don't come from like an ancestral line that budgeting money was a part of.
Mm.
Is day-to-day living. I have enough for today, we're good. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And there's a beauty in that, but we need some help. We need some help with the budgeting, and with the ability to divide our money up in a bank account. Like if I can open a bank account but then just have multiple savings accounts in there, that'd be really helpful. So I could just go onto my online banking and just split it up, so that I know exactly what I have to work with.
Mm.
And so when people ask me for money, I can just say no, or I can say yes. This is how much I can give you, because all the other stuff is spoken for.
Mm.
So I'm not saying that the Reserve Bank, again, just to be clear, I'm not saying that it's doing something wrong. I'm just saying like use content creators like us, or like Uraya, or like Dan, or like oh
Shania.
Shania. But what's the guy that we're gonna do a collaboration with?
Oh, Gabby.
Yeah, Gabriel.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, Gabriel, who's the food review guy. He does awesome stuff. But like have fun with something that's really boring, like Reserve Bank information. Give it to people like them to explain to the people that are the end users. Like I don't think it needs to be hidden.
Mm.
So that'd be helpful,
Mm.
because when you're hidden, or when people don't understand, they just don't trust. Because we come from, well, Itoke culture is like a non-trusting culture. We default to not trusting,
Yep.
because that's how we survive
Mm.
over like our whole history.
Mm.
So to trust is not default. To not trust is default. So you have to explain yourself first.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Definitely.
Deep cuts right at the end. We love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us on this one. We will see you guys right here tomorrow. Peace. On the mat.